Grand Prairie, Texas, the #1 rated quarterback in the country. Robinson in trouble, and he's taken down, guess who? Chase Young, who had 10 sacks last year. What overall pick in the draft?
I mean, Chase Young is an absolute monster on the outside. He moved over to the left defensive end spot for today because on the right side of the FAU offensive line, they've got a couple of redshirt freshmen rotating. They feel like that gives
the last 2 years, Anthony Pollard, Darrell Henderson in recent years. Lewis, what do we think of Gibson here?
Look, Gibson is an absolute weapon. He can play just about anywhere. He can line up in the slot and just gas you down the field with his pure speed as a wide receiver, and his run after the catch is as good as anybody's in college football and coming out in this draft at about 6 foot, 220 pounds. He has tremendous home run ability. He can line up at running back, and he could gas you for 100 yards there. He's the ultimate Swiss Army knife weapon, and I don't say that to just kind of like be blasé about playing soccer,
but he had all kinds of issues and disciplinary issues that cost him games, Daniel Jeremiah, playing for LSU.
Yeah, fascinating evaluation, Trey. I had him as the 63rd overall player in the draft, so you see some value here with this pick. You see how athletic he is, his ability to redirect and pass protection, going up against some of the top rushers in the SEC. The question was, what about this suspension? Well, he was suspended for 6 games for positive drug tests. But teams with the changes in the CBA, not
over the past 2 years, Trey, 20 touchdown passes over the past 2 years. He had almost 1,400 yards this past year. And what he does for Dwayne Haskins, the quarterback of the Redskins, is he gives him a huge outside lane presence at 6'4", 223 pounds with a 36-inch vertical jump. Once he gets off the line, he'll need to clean up his ability to escape press. But I'll tell you this, he can go and get the ball in the back corners of the end zone on the fade balls as well as anyone.
Preference here.
I appreciate that. San Diego State, Keith Ismael, really quick, an athletic center, does a nice job of just staying attached. He doesn't plow people over. He's not going to generate a lot of movement at the point of attack. He's more of a pest than he is a power player, but just a steady Eddie. There's not a lot of bad reps. At the Senior Bowl, he competed. There were some times where that lack of core strength showed up, but when you want to be athletic... Yeah, look, they play with a bunch of different guys in this type of a role. Very productive, over 100 tackles. He'll play over the slot. He'll also match up over tight ends. He's a little bit tight in his change of direction, but he does have some thump as a tackler. I think he plays a little bit bigger than his size at 5'11". A little bit inconsistent when he's asked to cover tight ends down the field. Had some wins, had some losses. I think he's going to have to make this team for what he does on 4th down on special teams. I think he'll have to carve out his role as he goes forward.
But Khaleke Hudson and his roommate...
2017 as a true freshman, he's starting at corner, led the Arkansas Razorbacks with 8 pass breakups. Then he moved to safety this past year. He had a decent year. I thought overall, though, he didn't wow me over. He needs to break down a little bit more consistently. Made some plays. He had 76 tackles, was 4th on the team, a couple sacks, 2 interceptions. Looks the part. He's over 6'1", at 206 pounds with long arms, 34.5 vertical, good upper body strength. But I thought, he didn't always play as physical as you wanted. They also had that versatility, though. You like the fact that he played corner early on, made some plays in coverage when he was a freshman. I think he really still has some developing to do overall, Trey. I wasn't sold on him. Not surprised he lasted as long as he did.
Today.
Carden Johnson is the back, and he gets swarmed under by James Smith-Williams for a 2-yard loss.
Bradley Chubb played last year. He's stepping up. There's been a lot of talk in Raleigh 8. Maybe a little inside handoff. But...
Right. Yep, you called it, Carden Johnson. And that's going to take us to the end of this first half here from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Nick McLeod had the interception late in the second quarter. Perkins escaping that pocket. Pulled down by the jersey, James Smith-Williams.
This is a quick throw scenario. You see to the inside right there, no place to throw the ball, and then finally, this NC State team is going to get about it.
He's doing historic things. Look out. With a 3-man rush, they get to Trevor Lawrence and drop him for a sack. The main pressure came from James Smith-Williams, defensive end from Raleigh, North Carolina.
This is not what you do. I mean, now this is a mismatch, blocking a defensive end.
but you can't whip. If that's your assignment, you can't whip. You've got to get a piece of him.